blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
What's up, people? Welcome to the Say Less Show with Comeiko, and Happy New Year. I'm looking at the calendar and I'm realizing that this is the first show of 2026. Last week was supposed to be, but man, that something was trying to take over and I wasn't allowing it. Okay, my body was aching and sore. I had lost my voice out the blue, and I was like, not today. So I took the time out to pop zinc all day last week and teas and everything else, because what Comeiko don't do is get sick. Okay, so I had to nip that in the bud. But I'm back and my voice is back and it ain't cracking. So I hope everyone's new year is starting out the way that they need it to start out. As I have been saying since the end of 2025, 2026 is the year of wins. Okay, and victory. All right, we got to claim it. We got to claim it. We got to claim it. And I know for me, I'm just glad that karmic 9-year cycle is, well, we still kind of sort of in it, but it's over. And yeah, this is not the year for games. So welcome. I actually, my printer is out of ink, so I am going off of my tablet for my notes. So bear with me because my tablet keeps timing out for whatever reason. And yeah, I probably should have pulled it up on my phone over here, but I didn't. So, of course, before we get started, I'm going to give us our motivational quote, motivational, inspirational, however you want to receive it. Okay. Just as long as you retain it. Okay. Because it'd be good stuff. But because of the topic today, we're going to say that, the children that God appoints us is not meant to fulfill our expectations. They're meant to be loved, protected, and guided without conditions. Okay, so I'll read that again. The children God appointed to us aren't meant to fulfill our expectations. They're meant to be loved, protected, and guided, not without any conditions. Okay, I think that's very important. So with that being said, our topic today, of course, is parenting and loving your child when they make the choice. And I'm gonna try my best to, I don't want to get political. I don't really want to go towards the Bible too much because, you know, I don't want to offend anyone. Even though the Gemini, I'm just saying though, I want to try to do this in a way where it doesn't get political and doesn't get biblical too much. So I'm gonna try my best, but it's basically supporting, loving your child when they choose to love the opposite sex. And so, you know, I was a non-believer until it hit my own backyard. Okay, so that changed a lot. That's why they say never say never. Never say what you won't do. Never say because you're gonna end up one day probably doing it, right? So that's the topic for today. And of course, before we get started, my beverage of choice for the evening, I chose I'm just trying different stuff, okay? And for this, I felt like I needed some type of communion, All right. And so I am trying for the first time the 19 Crimes Sweet, the Cali Sweet by Snoop D-O-G. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not a fan of 19 Crimes. I'm not a fan of a lot of these wines that has the what's it, sulfate or whatever. It gives me a headache sometimes. But I'm trying this for the first time because Cali is where it's at. It's what I do. It's in my blood. It's in my bones. I love Texas, but I'm Cali for life. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, there you have it. So that's what I'm drinking this evening. I can dig it. I can dig it because it's not sweet. I like dry wine, red wine. And it actually has a wonderful blend. It's dry, yet there's a smidget of sweetness. I can dig it. Come on, Snoop. But okay, so we're gonna jump into this. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Okay. And I am going to, I had 2 weeks to think about this, and I know a lot of people personally that struggles with this. Being close in their family or someone close to them that's dealing with it. I'm going to tell my story, right? Okay. So, as most people know, if you know me, my son is for the other team. I always say the other team. I don't say gay, queer. I don't say those words. I just say he's for the other team. So let's go back to when he was a kiddo, right? Crazy thing is, I knew. I'm just gonna say that. I knew from the time he was 3 that he was special. It was just in me. It was in my soul. I never spoke it. I never spoke it into existence because we got to watch what rolls off of our tongues. You put it in the universe, and that's what it is. Y'all be playing with the universe. You better quit playing with the universe. I'm telling you that right now. If you ain't learned it, you're gonna learn it the hard way. But watch what you say and watch what you do. Okay, especially to the divinely protected. Be careful. But I knew, right? So there was no gay. I mean, there's gays in my family or whatever, but there was no one in close proximity of gay. So there was no influence. There was none of that, right? So one evening, like my sister was, I don't know where the heck my sister was, but my son was in her room. And I hear like the TV going or whatever, right? And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? I go in the room and my son got on my sister's high heels, and he knows that he knows about this show. We talked about it a few months back, actually. And he's okay with it, just in case. But even if he wasn't, it's my story. Okay. He ain't got nothing to say about me telling my story. But yeah, so he's in my sister's room and he's got on some high heels and he got the remote control as a microphone and he was singing, "Who Can I Run To?" And I was like, whoa, bro. Right? So, wasn't nothing of it. We all, as children, boys, I had cousins, we played around or whatever, but it was something in me that was like, So as he got older, or whatever, I noticed little bitty things, but long story short, between me and his father, some things went haywire. So for some time, he spent time with his father. So I was in and out during his adolescent years. His father would call and, tell me certain, tell me certain things. And, I've always been that cool parent. I want my kids. I'm not your friend. I'm gonna be your mama first, all the time, every time. But I'm also gonna be your best friend, right? So I raise my children to be comfortable to come to me with whatever it is. I don't care what it is. even if it's embarrassing, whatever, because I'm gonna laugh at you first and then we gonna work out the problem. That's just the kind of mama that I am, right? Just straight up down to earth. So I would always ask because I wonder, and I would see pictures on Facebook. He's the reason why I got on Facebook, because his father allowed him to have a Facebook so young. And I was like, oh, hell no, I don't even have a Facebook. And then when he got a Facebook, I was like, okay, well, you're going to be on Facebook? Then let me get a Facebook page and I'm about to watch you. And that's how I ended up on Facebook. But anyway, so I watched, pictures posted, just like, I'm like, I ain't heard about no girlfriend. Every time we talk, I'm like, hey, son, got a girlfriend yet? Oh my God, no, mom. Just little bitty things I would nitpick because I was trying to see, like hinting around, just wanting him to be comfortable enough to tell me or share it with me. Or even at that time, I think that he probably wasn't very sure. So just even if you're thinking about it, talk to mom. You could talk to me about anything, right? So that was that. So then, of course, his graduation, I flew out to Washington for his graduation or whatever. And I even asked him then, I think he had turned 18 or something like that. And I was like, son, I would say, hey, are you gay? Do you like boys? Mom, how could you? Don't ask me that. We went through all that. And I was like, son, if you are, you can tell mom. Like, that's not going to change anything. Even though I knew that I was totally against it, right? And at that time, my mom was killed and I was lost and I didn't have any direction. I needed to fill that void of her being gone. So, of course, I joined church and I became very active in the church and the Bible and all of this stuff. And so, of course, for something like that, him knowing that, I think that is one of I know that it is now today, but that was one of the factors of where he just didn't want to tell me because he felt like he would be letting me down, knowing my belief, right? So, yeah, he was just like, I said, at the end of the day, I'm still your mom. I'm required to love you, regardless of the decisions that you make, whether I like them or not. That's just how I rock. God didn't assign these children to us for nothing. Okay. So that's my attitude when it comes to my children. I may not like what they do. I may not like how they act or anything like that. As long as I know that I did my part and I did my part the best of my ability, hey, what you choose to do with your life is yours because you don't want to have to go up there and answer all them questions. I ain't got to stand there with you and answer the questions for the decisions that you make as an adult, right? So that was that. So he denied it. So he went off to college. And I'm looking, still, on Facebook, consider me a ghost follower. And, I'm just seeing the little things like band, swimming. Like, I'm not seeing basketball. I'm not seeing football. You know what I'm saying? And I've always been a tomboy. And let me think. Yeah, he never really was very active. But just me being a tomboy that I was, you would think, right? So that was that. So come to find out, okay, let's just get to the point where when he came out finally. So he came out, him and my sister, my youngest sister, flew to Texas for my 40th birthday. That was 10 years ago. And they flew out and so we're doing our thing and, whatever. So we're in San Moon, right? And I don't know I can't remember what we were talking about, but he was behind me and whatever it was, I was like, speaking of which, and as I said, speaking of which, all I heard behind me was, I am, Mom. And I was like, bro. And it took everything in me to compose myself, right? Everything in me to compose myself. Because I had mixed emotions. It was finally, he trusts me enough to tell me. But then it was like, why? You know what I'm saying? And it was just all kind of stuff going through. But I knew at that moment I had to show him love. So I turned around. I was like, son, why didn't you tell me when I knew? Like, my intuition, my gift of discernment is bananas. I've always had that gift. You know what I'm saying? So why? And he was just like, well, because I really didn't know. I really was kind of confused. I really didn't know what was going on. But now I know for sure. So I was just like, great. And at that time when he was 23, he's 33 now. Yeah, 23. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, deep down inside, I'm going through. I'm going through because I'm like, dang it, man. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even a fact of like, oh, you know, grandbabies and stuff. Because let me tell you something, I'm still too young for grandbabies. I don't want no grandbabies. Okay. I'm still doing Miko. I'm still, you know, I'm already stuck with that thing behind me. Okay, the little grand dog that's already too much. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna have grandbabies and you know all of that. It wasn't that. It was just wow. So that was that. We got through it. We had conversations, and my sister is more my sister that came from the same womb as me. I mean, yeah, we came from the same womb. She's more outgoing and more free in life and flamboyant, and so any and everything's okay with her because that's just her life. She lives it freely. I absolutely adore it, right? So my son, come to find out, he felt more comfortable with my sister, and my sister had been knowing, and come to find out, he was a little bit nervous about telling me, just because of my, you know, my deepness in the church, and you know I was choir and choir president and just deep into the word and the Bible, and we know what the Bible says, right? And so he felt more comfortable with her, so we talked about all that and got over it. So then my daughter had spent the year with her dad in San Diego, and I believe it was her 6th grade graduation, so we all, you know, flew out there or whatever. And I just told my friend Misha, who was just here in Texas, I told her, I was like, you know, I just want to show him that I support him and, you know, whatever. So if you know San Diego got an area called Hillcrest. Okay. It's kind of like an oak line here in Dallas. And so we were like, let's go party. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about this mama, I'm going to always enjoy life and turn up and everything else. That's just what I'm going to do because I'm above ground, right? I'm going to celebrate it any chance I get. So I'm like, let's go do, you know, let's go, whatever. So we spend a night out in Hillcrest. We bar hopping, you know, going from bar to bar, whatever. And we go in one bar and we're in there. You know, one thing about my son, he don't play about his mama, you know, so he was, you know, making sure I was okay. He don't never let me pull money out my pocket. You know, he paid for my drinks, paid for whatever. So we good. He kept asking, are you good? Are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Let's turn up, you know, whatever. And so I happened to turn around, right? And I see 2 men kissing. And I was like, bruh, I don't know if I could do this, right? But I didn't. I tried my best to. I have a habit of my face tells it all. I ain't even gotta say a word. My face tells it all. And unfortunately, I can't control that because the emotion got to come out in some way. And if it ain't coming out my mouth, it's gonna come out my face. So I thought that I was, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I was playing it off. So I actually went to the bathroom. I was like, I'm going to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and I cried. I cried because I was just like, okay, this is your reality. This is it. Like none of us were given manuals on how to parent, you know. We all get hit with different situations when it comes to parenting and our children, and we weren't given a manual. It just comes as it comes. And so I went to the bathroom and I cried or whatever, and I got it all out. And so I came out the bathroom, and lo and behold, he ain't gonna let me get too far. And he was like, right there, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Let's go. I'm gonna get another drink. Blah, 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 blah. You know, of course, you know, he had his little, you know, the people that was, because you know my son fine as hell, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know if you know, but he fine as hell. Okay. But you know, he had, you know, people like, oh my God, that's your mom. It looks like your sister. And da, 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 da. So we're having fun. So for him to feel comfortable with me being okay, I made him get in a twerk contest. Crazy like that. I'm just crazy like that. If you ain't never hung out with me, you'll find out. But yeah, I had him made him get in a twerk contest, and now so I'm up there. I'm like, you your mama's child, your mama's child. You better get it in. You better get in. You better win this contest. So of course he was nervous. Of course he probably didn't execute the way that he probably would have if I wasn't in the building. Okay. But he got up there and he did it, because one thing about me, if you around me, we're gonna enjoy life. It could be the most dawning moment, the most great moment, and I'm gonna find some way for us to laugh and just get through it, right? So that's what we did, and I made it through the night. We had a blast, and ever since then, that's what it's been. So as far as his father is concerned, his dad was not happy about it, right? He wasn't happy about it at all. We would talk about it from time to time. He would call me or whatever, and he wasn't happy about it. I mean, he did some things that my thing is, if a person is for the other team and it's truly who they are, there's nothing you could do about it. You can't force it out of them. You can't take your son and make him sleep with women, or take your daughter and make them sleep with men, to think that that's going to turn them the way you want them to be, which is considered straight. Okay. That don't work. It just doesn't, because it is just who they are. And his dad did some things thinking that he can switch him up or whatever, that, nah, bruh, you made it worse. You know what I'm saying? And now that relationship is strained. And I can get how a man would feel that way, you know, about his son. I get it. But at the end of the day, we as parents, we're here to love and to try to understand. And even if you don't truly understand, listen to them and try. Or even just say, hey, I don't think I can accept this, but I'm gonna try. It's people taking their lives because of their closest people. The thing is, our children, when we accept or we understand and we got their back, the rejection in the world doesn't matter as much. It really doesn't. Because they feel like, hey, my loved ones, my closest people, they got me. So if the world don't have me, it don't matter, as long as my people got me. And as parents, that's what it's supposed to be. Because I'm gonna tell you, my kids will tell you, I don't play about my kids. I don't care what choices they've made. Okay, you're gonna fluck around and find out you mess with my kids. I don't care who you are, right? I don't care what you think of them. It's gonna be a problem. Okay, so my thing is, everybody want to call and text and stuff. I don't. I'm so sorry, y'all, but it's a bunch of stuff going on right now. So so yeah, his dad wasn't he wasn't very happy about it. So anyway, I just had to understand it and love. But I never believed in the same sex, being with the same sex. Okay. It went against everything that I believed in. However, my thing is, I said that all the time until it hit my backyard, right? All in my backyard. Okay. And it's different, right? Because I don't understand it. I personally think that now that I have experienced it, and it's within. Um, I personally believe people are born that way. That's my belief. The same way people are born with um, disabilities, diseases, abnormalities. I believe people are born gay because they're, again, from a child, there was nothing going on around my son he was never exposed to gayness, right? Never. Like, there was nothing for him to feed off of or mimic. None of that. Again, like, I was a tomboy. My mom and my sister loved him as grandma and auntie. Like, there was nothing for him to get that from. And like I say, at the age of 3, in my heart, I was like, think he gonna be gay. So for me, I believe people are born that way. I really do. And because of the world and society and the Bible and what people's beliefs are, they have a hard time coming into it, their true selves, because of the world. Man is supposed to be with woman, woman is supposed to be with man. And so they have a hard time. And that's pretty much what went down with my kid. But I knew it, right? So he knows how I feel. I joke all the time. He knows it. He knows his mama, because I'm just one of them. I'm just a jokester. I'm a crack a joke about any and everything. As a matter of fact, when he came down for my 40th birthday, we was all in the room laughing. I was cooking turkey necks and yellow rice and green beans and all that. We having a blast. And I forget who I was talking about. I was like, it's whatever with his old gay ass. And my son, I was like, and he was like, it's okay, Mom. It's okay. No, I said faggot. I said, oh, faggot. And my son was like, and I just stopped. I was like, oh my God, son, I'm so sorry. He was like, Mom, it's okay. It's okay. Don't bother me. I'm like, well, that's good, because you never know what's going to come out your mama mouth, baby. You just never know what's going to come out your mama. I don't know what's going to come out my mouth. It just come out. So, I love my daughter. It's very different. We talk through. It is. The magic word in that is you still love your daughter. And it's important for her to know that, because this is a struggle. It ain't easy. But as long as they know that we love them and we're there, and we may not like it, we may not agree with it, don't throw the shit up in our faces, right? That's all that matters. Because when they have acceptance from their parents, their sisters, their siblings, the closest people to them, I think that they'll be okay, and I know that just from different situations and stories that I know. So, but yeah, so my son, I joke. He doesn't take offense to any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Because again, no telling what the heck's gonna come out my mouth, right? So yeah, that's my story, and I've always tried to stay away from it, because I didn't really want to debate with people. Especially church people. Never thought I'd say that as involved as I used to be in church. You don't know what you're going to do, and you don't know how you're going to act until it hits your backyard. Okay. So I'm going to, of course, I knew that I probably wouldn't get a live guest on this conversation, because I know that it can be hard for some people. So I'm just going to go through the Q&As that I had took notes on, and I'm just going to read them, and I'm just going to answer them for what I think. But before we do that, I'm going to let a VP go ahead and introduce the artists for this evening.
I am. Apologize for that. Okay. Let's see here. Yep. Good show. Appreciate the transparency and the honesty. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All righty. So, there I am. I'm trying to find him. There he is. This is a blast artist that he's been with us since day one. And representing Durham, North Kakalaki, it's my man Elijah Rosario. And this is called Two Hearts. Let's check it out.
Living in a time with no facts, just all opinions. Truth is, baby, this time is all gifted. Every moment with you around, girl, I'm winning, alive and so lifted, yeah. Don't wanna live my life with a mask on, or make it seem like every lesson should be a sad song. I put it all in perspective. We got a right to be reckless. Let's take a chance on us. Give this a try, really test our love. See where it goes, see how we end up. You could be mine forever. We can't feel no stress. What tomorrow brings or what happens next. You ain't gotta worry, girl, I got your back. I'm always here whenever. We all need a love that can make us feel at home. Through the good and the bad, all the nights when you feel alone. And there's no place I'd rather be than here in your arms. Here I am, just a man giving you the key to my heart. I used to hide behind my lust, and I ain't even know how to trust. You came into my world, opened up my eyes, showed me I'm enough. And I can't deny or describe how I feel. One thing I know, girl, this feeling is real. If you're down for the ride, reaching new heights, I got an idea we can try. Let's take a chance on us. Give this a try, really test our love. See where it goes, see how we end up. You can be mine forever. We can't feel no stress. What tomorrow brings or what happens next. You ain't gotta worry, girl, I got your back. I'm always here whenever. We all need a love that can make us feel at home. Through the good and the bad, all the nights when you feel alone. And there's no place I'd rather be than here in your arms. Here I am, just a man giving you the key to my heart. We all need a love that can make us feel at home. Through the good and the bad, all the nights when you feel alone. And there's no place I'd rather be than here in your arms. Here I am, just a man giving you the key to my heart.
And that was Elijah Rosario with Two Hearts. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But we're also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you too can also register at blastmusic247.com, register as an unlimited fan, and have access to hundreds of independent music. Blast, we're constantly changing the industry one artist at a time.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks. Awesome. All right. So I am going to get to the Q&As. Okay. So the first one was, what does unconditional love look like when your child comes out? What does unconditional love look like when your child decides to come out? I'm going to say, so the answers was listening more than reacting. I think that's very important. No matter how it hits you, you know what I'm saying? Listen. If there's rage, if there's anger, if there's all them emotions is gonna hit you. Do know that, right? They gonna hit you. But listen, Just listen. Letting your child lead the conversation, separating the fear from the facts. It's like I say, mixed emotions. Mixed emotions is what you're going to go through, but the golden word is listen. If you have questions after you've listened to them, that's when you ask your questions. Well, how or when did you think that you were? Did you always know that you were gay? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's two separate ones. Like I say again, I personally think that people who have been that way from day one were born that way. And that, I wouldn't even say it's an abnormality. That's why I say I still struggle. I'm gonna be 100 with you. I still struggle sometimes to understand it. But in the meanwhile, I'm gonna love my kid, right? And I'm gonna rock with them till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll just leave God to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? But in the meanwhile, I got my son and I support him because I'm about to take over their wedding and they don't even know it. But anyway, so yeah, you just got to listen and then you ask your questions, or whatever. So the emotional journey for parents, is it okay for parents to grieve expectations they once had? Absolutely. When we have our children are assigned to us, okay? Assigned to us, our children are. So, of course, we have expectations of what we think their life is going to be and what they're going to be and what you have to do to, as a parent, to get them there. And, and of course, we have expectations. So when those expectations are pretty much knocked out the ballpark, you're going to grieve, you're going to mourn, you're going to say, you might even question, what did I do? Now, I didn't do that because I didn't say, girl, where'd you go wrong? No, I didn't do that. I didn't. However, you're going to grieve. You're going to try to say how and why. And I don't even think I went through a phase of what would people think. Because just who I am, I've never cared about what people think about me. You think what the hell you like to think, that's on you. It ain't got nothing to do with Comeiko, right? So that's just me. But I know a lot of people do care about what other people think. And I think that also plays a factor in parents having a hard time dealing with it because they're trying to protect their image from the world or from the pastor or from church or from co-workers or from other family members, the older generation who just, oh Lord, that's just, oh, they what? You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's you and your kid, no matter who think what, right? Even if the father or the mother thinks different, it's about you and the kid and nobody else. So, and then that's important too, healing privately so your children can feel safe publicly. That is a big factor. So what if a parent messes up the pronouns or the language? I said that earlier. You never know what's going to come out Comeiko mouth, especially depending on what the heck we doing. We talking, we might be having some adult beverages. We're laughing. We're, because my best friends were men. So I'm a boy girl, right? So I go hard. My skin is thick. So we going to sit up and talk crap and everything else. And yeah, I never know. So like I say, that one time we was talking, I was like, oh, faggot. Oops. So and it says to correct, apologize, move forward. My son knows that if something like that comes out my mouth, it has nothing to do with him, right? It's just a figure of speech. I don't freaking know. I don't know, but whatever. So protecting your child. How do parents advocate for their LGBTQ child at school or in the community? I can't really say because, again, his adolescent years, we were off and on. And of course, at that time, he was not sure. of his status. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that note. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one, the mental health and safety, youth wise. You just got to have your kids back, is what I say. Okay, so when you're coming into the family and the cultural challenges, because we know there's a lot of those families that, oh my God, gay people, no, right? When you're dealing with the cultural challenges, how do parents handle unsupportive relatives or faith-based pushbacks? I can honestly say that that's probably 80% of families that have an issue with their child's decision. Okay, I felt since her dad was not full-time in her life. That might be. I just really don't. I guess it just depends on the person, right? It can be so many factors as to why they chose to love the same sex. We can blame it on a lot of stuff, but it's really the individual. That's where talking comes in. That's where communication comes in. Is it something that you always thought you were? Did you always think that you would love women? Have you always been attracted to women, right? At what age did you realize that you're more attracted to women than you're attracted to men? It's just a conversation to have. It's so important. Communication is so important. And as uncomfortable as it is for us parents, we gotta do it. It ain't no different than having an uncomfortable conversation with your employer, right? It ain't no different than having an uncomfortable conversation with your husband or your wife. Sometimes things are just uncomfortable, but it needs to be dealt with. So if you got to get some communion, and sit down and chit chat and talk, make it a night of girls' night and let's just talk, type of thing. First time around, it might be uncomfortable. Let me sip this while I got it in my hand. First time around, it might be uncomfortable, right? But as you continue to talk and show your kiddo that you still love them and you got their back, the more comfortable they'll be. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say whose fault it is or why or what circumstances in life led them to why they chose to like or love the opposite sex. So how do parents handle unsupportive relatives and faith-based? Pluck them. That ain't their child. It's your child. Your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your uncles, your aunties. It's not their children. It's not their child. It's your child. So if it's something that they don't support, tell them kick rocks. Because that child was appointed to you. And God trusted you to take care of that child and to love that child, regardless, unconditional love. Okay. So that's what I say about family. Okay. So parenting without labels. Should parents push labels or timelines on their child? No. They shouldn't. I don't. My daughter's 21. My daughter chose to be to herself, and she chose to choose love when she's ready. We all know I don't want no grandbabies, okay? Because I be looking at my friends and associates who got grandbabies, and I'll be like, girl, call me back. Okay, I ain't got time for it. But no, it shouldn't be a timeline. It's your kid's life, man. If you did your part as a parent, okay, from birth to the age of 18, when the law considers them an adult, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Let them do them. Okay. What kids wish parents knew? So what is one thing that the LGBTQ children wish their parents understood? And it's, am I still your child? This isn't a phase of rebellion. Your acceptance gives me confidence. Oh my God, that's good. Because it's so true. When my son finally came out to me, and if he could be here on the show, he would tell you that it relieved so much, because my opinion of him matters so much, and it allowed him to build more confidence, right? Now, one thing I did pray for when he finally told me was, Lord, please don't let him be flamboyant. I said, Lord, that's what the baby is. He gay, he like men, okay, whatever, but please don't let him be flamboyant. And the Lord has thus answered now he get a little wild and stuff like that, but he's still a man at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And he ain't wearing wigs and lipsticks and stuff like that. That's a little bit harder. That's a whole nother subject. But I prayed that he wouldn't be flamboyant like that. So those are just some of the Q&As that I had. So, yeah. What would you say today to a parent who's struggling to understand their LGBTQ? I can't believe I'm saying that good, because I always get the letters wrong. I'd be like LBACD, LBC, the LBC, but it's LGBT. So what is that? Lesbian, gay. What the hell is LG? What does it stand for? What does LGBTQ stand for? Lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans. Wow. Okay, girl, that's enough. Okay. So lesbian, gay, bisexual, I knew, but I didn't know the transgender and did that just get added or something? Transgender and queer. And then it got a plus sign. So I don't know what the plus, it must be some more stuff out there. I don't know. But so you don't have to understand everything to love fully, but your child needs to know they are safe with you. You got to be a safe place for your children. This world is freaking bananas. If my daughter was here, she would tell you, I always tell her, I teach my children to no matter what, how to survive in this world. I teach them not to take crap from people. I teach them to stand up for themselves. And because I promise you, the world will freaking chew you up and spit you out. You got to know how to survive in this world, right? So, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a blessing. Because I say again, I don't know how people, it would have been so awesome to have some more parents on here, because I don't think I would feel different if my son was in wigs and lipsticks and stuff like that. It just would take more. So I get it, you know, when there's moms that deal with the lesbian woman, and at least she ain't got no dickies on sagging with the boxers showing, you know what I mean, and the you know what I mean. She's still a lady at the end of the day. She just prefers women. That is a blessing. We're blessed. And even if you're not, you're still blessed. I can't give advice on how to deal with that. There's times when my son be having on sheer shirts and stuff, and I'm like, boy, if you don't put a t-shirt on. But again, that's his life. That's his life, and he fine. Okay. So I ain't got nothing to say about it. But so I have two closing affirmations. One is your child did not change. Your understanding just expanded. Okay. Your child didn't change. Your child is who they are. It's just you trying to understand it. Your understanding expanded much more than it would have. So I hope that helps somebody. It's always been on my heart to talk about it, especially people that I know that are struggling with it. I know parents, moms and dads, and I also know kiddos that are struggling with their sexuality. And just as parents, it's important for us to be there, whether we like it or not. I mean, think about all the things that they did in their adolescent years that we didn't like, but we got over it. Right? So what's so hard about trying to understand? Like I said again, my son knows that I ain't really. Yeah, it does. Absolutely, it does. It ain't happened overnight. I could tell you that. The nights that I cried and asked God why, and was it something I drank or ate when I was pregnant? You know what I'm saying? Like, I kept that between me and God, and just prayed for understanding, and prayed for me to have the strength to continue to love my child unconditionally. And I did. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, because trust me, it's going to save lives. There's people killing themselves every day because their family doesn't accept them. Literally. And I didn't do my homework like I should have, because, typically I like to get on here with stats. There's people killing themselves every day because that is who they are. And they're struggling because the very people that's supposed to love them unconditionally is not accepting of it. I mean, I know people that has kicked their children out the house because they're gay. Like, not cool, man. So while you sitting here talking about some, well, you the one got to answer. You got to answer as a parent when you get up there to the pearly gates. Because your job is to love your children. Okay? The same way God loves you. Think about all the sugar, honey, iced tea we done did in our life that God was like, okay, but he loves us unconditionally. He's still granting us days above ground. So who the hell do you think you is? Not to grant that same love to your freaking child. It's your child. It makes me so angry. And that's probably why I haven't publicly talked about this. Because I get pissed. How can you do your babies like that? How can you disown your child because of a decision, or again, for me, something that they were born in? How could you? How could you? And if there's anybody struggling with it, need help, need somebody to talk to, I'm always around. I'm here. I still practice my master life coach stuff. I just shut down my website because I got too much going on to take appointments. But I'm here. I'm here. Don't do your babies like that. The world is already too hard on us to freaking begin with. They got to deal with society, and they got this whatever that person is in office. They got to deal with the stuff he doing, and they taking away LGB this. Well, hold on, LGB. Oh shit. Hold on. I'm gonna get it right one day. LGBTQ plus, okay. Taking all this stuff away and making it seem like it's so whatever, and not allowing people to freely express themselves. They gotta deal with that already. So why they gotta deal with that in the world, and then they gotta come home and deal with it? Or you got people who haven't been home to see their family in forever because they're petrified of what their families, man, bruh. I'm gonna go ahead and end because I'm starting to get mad. But I'm here. Okay. You want to talk about it? You want to try to get through it? I'm here. But just know that it's doable. And just know that we are to love our children. And on that, I'm gonna leave you with this. If God trusted you with that child, he already knew what kind of love they would need and knew you were capable of giving it. I'm going to say it again because I'm a repeater. If God trusted you with that child, he already knew what kind of love they would need and knew you were capable of giving it. You got it. You got it. You can do it. You can do it. And if you need a little push, call me. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for joining in. Appreciate the comments. And I hope it helped. I really do, because that was straight from my heart tonight. So, of course, as always, I don't know what the topic's going to be next week. It's just the way that I roll. But do know I am always open for suggestions. My platform is open for anybody who wants to join it, share your business, share your story, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? This is a non-formal platform, and you want to talk about it, say less. We're going to talk about it. So on that note, you guys have a beautiful evening, and I will see you guys next Tuesday, which is the 20th of dang, January gone. You got somewhere to be. But anyway, see you guys next week. Have a blessed week. Bye.
Showtime, showtime.